You can see. So this is a little American alligator. It's not a crocodile.
Okay, here we go. Here's a couple more. In fact, one of them just flew.
Fox squirrels come in a variety of patterns and hues, but size alone tells you that this is no run-of-the-mill gray squirrel. Kate Amsbacher is a wildlife biologist who studies fox squirrels right here in the Lowcountry, and she's agreed to let us tag along. Kate, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming out.
So these are really charismatic little animals for sure, but why do you study them?
Well, they're a species of conservation concern at this point. They're not federally listed or protected in any way yet, but their populations are declining throughout their range. So it's a species that we want to get ahead on and make sure we're keeping them around for years to come.
You know, I've heard these guys called monkey squirrels and cat squirrels and all kinds of things, but this is a native species, right?
Right.
So Kate, tell us a little bit about the studies you're doing here.
Okay, well, my study is a cooperative project between Marshall University, where I'm studying in the biology department, Nemours Wildlife Foundation, and Parris Island in the Marine Corps. The main part of my study is a translocation. So I am catching squirrels here on Nemours Plantation and a few other plantations here in the Lowcountry, and actually moving them to Parris Island to establish a population.
So there aren't squirrels there, but it's good habitat.
They have gray squirrels there, but they don't have fox squirrels there, but there is suitable habitat for the fox squirrels.
And so there'd be enough to eat?
Yes, yep.
So Kate, tell us a little bit about the natural history of this squirrel.
They normally live, we think, about 8 to 10 years in the wild. They have typically 1 litter a year, about 2.5 pups on average. So they live a pretty long time for being such a small rodent, and they don't really have that many babies compared to what we see in some of the other squirrels and mice and rabbits and things like that. So they have a pretty long life history there, and that is part of the reason why it's such an issue when we start losing them. It's hard to get them back because they don't reproduce and bounce back very quickly. They like areas like this pine
so
savanna.
This is great habitat.
Yes,
This is what I think of when I think of fox squirrels.
Right,
for sure.
Exactly. They are specialists in this type of habitat. They like these nice open areas, not too many trees. They spend a lot of time on the ground foraging mushrooms, insects, pine cones, acorns, hickory nuts. They're not too terribly picky. It really depends on the season and what's available.
So Kate, I see fox squirrels in some areas, but they're not everywhere, are they?
Right. So historically they would have been in a lot more areas, but as we have more and more human interaction with buildings and roads and things like that, that's really limited some of their habitat availability. And so this particular subspecies is pretty much just here in the Carolinas along the coast with the longleaf pine ecosystem. Because they're found in such sparse populations, not a whole bunch of them in one area, you don't really have any predators that really specialize on fox squirrels. Pretty much anything that is going to eat smaller rodents would take a fox squirrel if they get the chance to.
So this area's obviously been managed. You can just tell by looking at it.
Right. Nemours Wildlife Foundation is really big on controlling their areas with fire, with controlled burns, which is really important in keeping a nice open understory like this with this grassy cover, as opposed to thick hardwoods that come in and just close everything in, and you ruin this nice open ecosystem.
I love these warm season grasses.
Definitely.
You know, this savanna look.
Right, yes. And fox squirrels love it too, and so do a lot of other wildlife species.
Okay, so the next part is what I'm so excited about. We're going to catch some fox squirrels, right?
That's the goal.
All right, well, let's go.
Let's go. And
doesn't look like there's anything in it.
yeah, the door's open here, so we can go ahead and take this lid off and we can look at how the trap actually works on the
Okay,
inside.
cool. I noticed the delicious pecans in there.
Yeah, so we use the pecans because they're pretty specific to squirrels. That helps keep us away from all the coons and opossums and everything else that might decide to try to get in here. If we catch a squirrel, the squirrel would come in over here through the door and come back in here, smell the pecans, want these back here in the back, and step on this treadle that we have here. That trips the door. We've got a little bit of an opening back here with this wire so that they can still, you know, get some fresh air and everything. It doesn't get too hot in here. But this really helps keep them from being too afraid from predators and causing extra stress when they're here in these traps.
All right, well, let's put this one back together and then we'll go check another one.
Okay. think we've got one
Yeah,
in
I
here.
think you're right. Oh, it's a good
Oh,
spot for
yeah.
right next to this live oak tree.
Yeah. All right, let me go get my stuff and we'll get him out.
Okay.
Got everything we need.
I see the
here.
gloves, so those are important, right?
Yeah, definitely very important. These guys have some nice jaw power. You don't want to get bit. All right, so I'm gonna open up the door here. Okay, so now let's pick this up and tilt it out and see if we can't get him to run out of here. Can you see in the back of there?
Yep, he's facing me.
Can you blow on him? Okay,
We got him, I think.
we've got him.
Oh, good. So he's inside the...
Yep. All right. Hi, little guy. Yes, definitely a male. Pretty old too. And can you still hang on to?
I can.
Okay. Make sure that it's closed the whole way, and we'll let him go in there. Okay. He's in there, and we're gonna throw this towel over him
Just
to
so he
keep
won't
the
get scared.
stress down. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, let's take this guy up to the lab, and we'll get him some anesthesia and get a collar on him.
Okay, great.
Hi, Al. Thanks for doing this.
How y'all today? Got a candidate here?
We sure do.
Hey, Al, good to see you again.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
We're gonna get a weight on him.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and put this collar right here around his neck.
You know, it's not like if this guy wasn't asleep, you could handle him like this. But
No way.
it's so impressive. I mean, look at the tail. Very impressive.
Oh yeah, very
Long,
nice
fluffy
bushy
tail.
tails.
And of course, big rodent teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very impressive claws.
Yeah.
God,
Definitely.
they're remarkable animals, and they're so big compared to other squirrels.
Yes. So here we are at Paris Island. This is where I release all of the squirrels to their new translocated home.
Now, but you have a couple squirrels that are already
I do.
have collars on them here, right?
I do. Last year around this time I was releasing some squirrels out here, and we still got some out here that are doing their squirrel things.
Now, I have done some radio telemetry with snakes and other things, but how are we going to find this squirrel?
Okay, so the collars that we put on the squirrels, like we just put on that one we caught, they emit a particular radio frequency, sort of like a station on your radio that you would dial into to listen to music. And this receiver here that I have, I can tune into the specific radio signal that squirrel is giving off. And I have a whole list of all of the signals.
Squirrel channels,
Yes,
basically.
squirrel channels. And so then we can use this antenna here to listen for the signal from that squirrel and follow it and find the squirrel.
All right, well, let's go see if we can find one.
Okay.
So you think this squirrel is going to be up in a tree or on the ground? Probably in a tree, right?
There's probably a pretty fair chance that he's in a tree, and you'd be amazed at how easily they blend in with all of that Spanish moss and resurrection ferns and everything. They can hide pretty well.
This is beautiful habitat. This is good stuff.
Yep, and with a nice open bottom layer
Yeah.
here like we were talking about. Even though it's not that pine savanna that we had discussed, this is still pretty nice habitat
So
because
this is
they've got
good
these
fox
large,
squirrel habitat,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. And these large oaks are going to produce a lot of acorns. There's all sorts of fungi that grow in here, and you can see that there are some pines in the periphery, so they've got a lot of options for food as well. All right, I think we're gonna stop right in here, and I'm gonna turn this receiver on and see if we can get an idea of where this squirrel is at.
I can hear the faintest little beat through that static.
Yeah, so through the static you hear a little bit of a beep, and that beep is the signal that the squirrel's collar is giving off.
There we go.
But
Strong.
But I believe he's in one of these 3 trees. Oh, look at this. I think we found what he's after in these trees up here.
There's not much left of that.
No, not much at all.
And they love pine nuts, don't they?
Yep. They'll sit up in the tree and they'll just use their teeth to gnaw off a cone, and they'll sit in the tree and just rip it apart and just let all of the pine cone pieces fall to the ground.
Looks like you had a feast here.
Yeah. You know, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get here. He's definitely in one of these couple of trees, but he's doing a pretty good job at hiding from us right now.
So a lot of times they probably go to the opposite side of the tree every time.
Yes, definitely. They see us. He's sitting up there watching us right now and moving his body just so that we can't see him. And he'll just keep playing that game as we keep walking around in circles.
Well, that's all right. We know he's up there and we know he's doing fine.
We do, we do. Yep.
Well, I guess we ought to see if our other guy's ready to be released.
Yeah, yeah, give him a friend.
Well, I think this guy's ready to go, right?
Yeah, let's take a look at him here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's waiting. He's waiting to get out.
Okay, so what we're going to do is just open the cage and he's going to run off.
Yep, we have it pointed towards that tree so that he can go straight to the tree and hopefully find himself some friends and some food and some shelter for the night.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Here it goes.
Here we go.
Get off me.
There he goes.
Looks like he's in good shape.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Look, he's over in that tree now.
Kate, that was awesome.
This is my favorite part. It's great.
Well, thank you so much for letting us join in your research.
Thanks so much for coming along.
This is Bo Bauer, and he's a wildlife biologist at Nemours Wildlife Foundation. Bo, this is some incredible place.
I know, isn't it? It's fascinating out here.
So how big is Nemours?
The Nemours plantation is about 9,800 acres.
So almost 10,000 acres.
And we're situated here on the northern end of Beaufort County along the Combahee River, which we're looking out at right now.
So this is former rice impoundments, right?
Correct, correct. We have hundreds of acres of old rice impoundments that we actively manage, not just for waterfowl purposes, but shorebirds use these impoundments, wading bird species. Of course, we have eagles like to hunt out here. We have alligators out here. I mean, it provides amazing habitat. And, not just impoundments, but we have, thousands of acres of uplands as well, hardwood bottoms, pine savanna. We have some tupelo swamp on the property. It's a great matrix of habitat types on this property.
So how did Nemours get started?
Well, this property, Nemours Plantation, was owned by Eugene DuPont III. Mr. DuPont passed away in 1995. He had it set up in his will to establish a 501c3 nonprofit organization to overtake ownership of the property and take care of it. And that's how we came about as Nemours Wildlife Foundation. Aside from just taking care of this beautiful piece of property, we also have a robust research program here for scientific investigations for wildlife and wildlife habitat.
Bo, I know you work with aquatic invertebrates here, but what other sorts of research projects are going on now?
We have a multitude of research projects ongoing right now. We just wrapped up a 4-year study on wild turkey nesting and brood rearing habitat. Right. We have graduate students here from Clemson University and Marshall University. We have the Clemson students working with black-bellied whistling duck movements and a competition of wood duck box use. The Marshall students are doing fox squirrel translocations and population restorations, and eastern diamondback rattlesnake translocations. Really exciting research. Myself, I'm working on aquatic invertebrates right now in these old rice fields. We have another Clemson student that's going to be working on submerged aquatics in these old rice fields as well. And my project and his will go hand in hand with starting to develop some biomass estimates of some of the nutritional carrying capacity.
You're talking about some of the stuff that the waterfowl is going to feed on.
Exactly, but especially for invertebrates, that's an important food source for shorebirds as well that use this kind of habitat as migratory stopovers. We also have long-term monitoring of pine savanna restoration, the avian response and plant community responses to some of the restoration projects we're doing out here. So just a lot going on here, and it's great to be able to do it. And the Nemours Plantation is just a wonderful laboratory to conduct all these investigations on.
So, Bo, you're also working with an endangered species here, right?
Correct, correct. We just started relocating red cockaded woodpeckers to this property. They've been extirpated from the Ace Basin for quite some time. Nemours Plantation, a few neighboring plantations, and a DNR property have just now got on board, and we're able to receive birds from other places around the state and start restoring those populations in the Ace Basin.
And you're actually putting in those artificial nest cavities,
Yes,
right?
we are using artificial nest cavities, and we're bringing in birds, usually from, we call it salvage birds, from safe harbor properties that are enrolled in the program, they have an endangered species, and they're getting ready to develop. Fish and Wildlife Service will go collect those birds and move them somewhere else.
Right, and I know you have some really good habitat for red cockaded woodpeckers.
We do, we're really proud of that here.
Mature pine trees and such.
Yes, and we were maintaining that, that savanna ecosystem with prescribed fire and keeping an open understory and the native warm season grasses that those birds prefer.
Bo, one of my biggest interests is environmental education. I know you do some of that here.
Yes, we do. We do host a few groups every year to come onto the property. We give tours, talk about conservation in the Ace Basin, land ethic, some of the research projects we have going on here. And these groups range from grade school kids to Lowcountry Master Naturalist courses, but this is not an open to the public property due to the fact that there is research going on.
Now, Bo, I realize this is a big job managing this much property. So
It is.
How does that work?
Well, since we're a nonprofit organization and we are run by a board of directors, they're a great group of people. They're really involved and enthusiastic of what we're doing out here. The foundation itself has a president and CEO, Dr. Ernie Wiggers. And other than that, I'm the staff biologist here, and we have 3 full-time land managers that take
That's a lot of land.
It's a
for
lot
that
of land.
small staff.
Yeah, it is. But everybody does a great job here, and you have to love the place, and we do love this place, and it's just it's a labor of love.
Today we're after one of the most beautiful turtle species in the Lowcountry, and we're going to join herpetologist Dirk Stevenson and Houston Chandler to assist them with their research. Guys, good to see you.
Hey, Tony.
So what's the plan for today? Obviously we're in the habitat. How are we going to do this?
So today we're going to look for spotted turtles. This is a site where we've been monitoring spotted turtles for 3 years now. This is the 4th year of our study. Today we're going to go ahead and check some turtle traps, and hopefully we'll catch some turtles.
All right, well, I'll follow you guys.
Tony, I've got a trap right here.
Let's see what we got. Man, it is really slick in here. Here we go. Just sardines.
Oh, all right.
So this is an interesting trap, Dirk. So it's got just 2 little openings. This probably excludes a lot of big turtles, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. These are specially modified to accommodate something the size of an adult spotted turtle, but not bigger. So we're not catching large snapping turtles or sliders.
And
in these
the
traps.
universal bait, sardines.
Right, sardines.
All right, well, there's a couple more traps around the corner.
All right, after you. Dirk, looks like some beavers have moved in here.
Check it out.
Tony, there's another trap right here that you can check.
Well, this is a beaver dam, isn't it? Looks like they've have some ditches here, and this is great habitat. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Hey.
So this is what we're after, spotted turtle, huh?
All right.
Yeah, and they're gorgeous.
Like a boy.
So it's a male, right? Scooped
Yep.
out plastron. What do you think, Dirk? Good looking.
Beautiful. That's an adult male.
You know, they really are gorgeous, aren't they?
Oh, this turtle has an interesting history. Houston can tell you more.
So do you know this turtle?
Yeah, we know this
Well,
turtle.
so what's his name,
yeah.
or what's his mark?
This is Igor, isn't
Yeah,
it?
his name is Igor.
So
because
you actually name your turtle, so it's
Well,
not like BKX, it's
right.
Igor or.
No.
See how he's hunched?
So he's got...
Oh yeah, he's got
Yeah.
kind of an interesting.
Conspicuously hunchbacked and kind of deformed, but he's a very healthy turtle.
Yeah.
We've known him for 4 years.
And this is one of the ones that we radio tracked last year. So
Oh,
we
cool.
spent a lot of
So how
time
did you
with him.
attach the transmitter on this?
So we attached transmitters and temperature loggers,
Mm-hmm.
and we just used waterproof epoxy right on the back, and
They
so
just
that-
glued it right on the back of the shell.
glued it
huh?
right on the back of the carapace, and the antenna trail behind, so that it's not likely to get stuck. And then we put the temperature logger on the other side.
Yeah. Look at the little leeches.
Got leeches.
He's got tiny leeches on him.
We probably have leeches on us too. I imagine little leeches. Hey, so let's talk about the just spotted turtles in general. So what are some of the perils that these guys face?
Well, these are, this is the second smallest turtle in the whole eastern United States. Of our 50 turtle species, only the bog turtle is smaller. And these guys have really taken a pounding and decline due to development, loss of habitat. They get hit crossing roads. They've also been over-collected
Right.
in parts of their range to the profound detriment of some populations.
And this is primarily for the pet trade, right?
Right.
The reality is we don't need to be
Yeah.
collecting them and selling them as pets, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of the spots,
You can see why they're
very,
popular.
very bright, beautiful turtle in your hand, but if you put this guy down in the water with tannins and dappled sunlight, it blends in beautifully, right?
Yeah, they're very hard to see when they're in the water, and they're very good at kind of burrowing down right on top of the leaf litter where you can't see them.
So what have you guys learned from radio tracking these turtles?
So over a 9-month period, we followed about 30 of these turtles around. We learned that they generally stay in a very small area. They don't move a lot. A few turtles occasionally would move long distances. But
So like what's a long distance?
occasionally we got a couple 100-meter movements, but that was rare. In general, they tend to hang out in the same place over and over with very short 5-meter movements.
So Dirk, why is the Orion Society interested in spotted turtles?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, the spotted turtle is a focal species of our freshwater turtle conservation initiative, Tony. And at the Orion Society, again, we're dedicated to the conservation of amphibians and reptiles, and we want to try to help save species like the spotted turtle.
So do you guys need to get some information from this one?
Yeah, we're gonna hold on to him so that we can weigh in before the day's done.
All right, well, let's go try another spot.
All right. Tony, we've got another trap we haven't checked yet right here.
All right, let's get this one.
Yeah.
So we still want to wade one up. You can't
we
pass
can.
up a trap.
Right, right. We set this yesterday and used Houston's special recipe,
Sardines,
sardines
right?
and oil. Yeah, sure enough.
All right, wow, 2 of them.
Hey, that'll work.
All right, let's get these out.
Yeah. This is a male that we've captured before. Oh, look at the spots, Tony.
Yeah, look how big they are. So
I mean, this is a...
So when these guys hatch out, does the orientation of the spots change as they grow?
Yeah, when they hatch, they have one yellow polka dot per scoot, and over time they develop
spread
more
out.
spots.
That's a beaut right there.
And this is a big spotted turtle.
So they're both males, right?
Yep.
Yep, both scooped out plastic. When did these guys mate?
And they aggregate right now.
So I'll bet sometimes if you get a female in the trap, you end up seeing a lot of males.
Yeah, we
that come in.
have 3 males and 1 female in the trap.
I remember I was doing some spotted turtles trapping in the past, and we actually used decoys. We used little clay models.
Yeah, did that work?
It did. It worked quite well.
Really?
You know, we also used bait, so it was kind of hard to tell. They were coming to the bait, but the clay decoys seemed to work for sure. So we can let these guys go.
Yep, I think we're done with them.
All right.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Okay, guys, I want to catch one by waiting.
Yeah,
Let's see what we
yeah,
can.
it's about time.
Boy, this is a beautiful one. Are you? Wow, look at that thing. Oh, man. That is a gorgeous, another male.
Very
Just
cool.
scoop. God, they really are pretty cryptic, aren't
Yeah.
they? So this is one of those species that could go undetected really easily, couldn't it?
Definitely. They have very seasonal activity. They're more active right now in the spring, and then they don't move very much. They don't come out during the summer. They don't come out during the winter. So they're very hard to find, and you have to be there at the right time to find them.
So these guys are eating invertebrates?
They're omnivorous. They eat fruit sometimes, but they're primarily carnivorous. Houston.
Yeah, when we were radio tracking, we actually got them eating gambusia on several occasions.
So it's mosquito fish.
Yeah, mosquito fish. They'd be sitting in the leaf litter, and they kind of be poking their head around, and then they come out holding the mosquito fish.
And I've
Really
seen a lot of crayfish, you know, scuttling
Oh
away
yeah,
as we
there's
wait
tons
for
of
the stitch.
crayfish in here. There's lots of invertebrates, tadpoles. There's tons of food for them to eat.
Okay, so you want to let this guy go?
Yeah, we'll let him go and see if we can go find a female.
Excellent.
Oh, there's one.
Hey! Is it a male or a female?
This is a female.
Oh yeah, look how flat the plastron
So her
is.
plastron is very flat. She's a little chunkier and weightier than the males.
So what's the typical clutch size in these guys?
1 to 3. Spotted
wow.
turtles do not lay many eggs.
And just one clutch per year?
Sometimes 2, but often just 1. Yeah, so
Boy,
they're-
that's not a lot of
no,
reproductive output, is it?
no,
That's,
it's not. But they
so-
live a long time. she can be on the landscape for many, many decades.
And
as old as us, Tony.
And the hatchlings, what, are about this big round or so?
Yeah, like a $50.
So probably the mortality happens when they're little.
Right, to the eggs and the youngins. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been absolutely amazing. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Tom.
I mean, I
Thanks for
love
coming.
spotted turtles, and they're really charismatic little guys. And I so appreciate the research you guys are doing with the Orient Society to protect spotted turtles and other species that live
thank you.
in the Southeast.
We love them.
And so I guess we need to let this one go.
Yeah, we can let her go.
And thanks again for letting us work with you in your research. We are so lucky to live in a part of the world with so many different types of living things. And it's really good that we have conservationists to take care of them. Thanks for joining us on Coastal Kingdom.